Let's jump right into the tutorial. I am gonna start by priming my eyes with my Plouise base, and I am actually gonna mix a little bit of my e.l.f. concealer with the base because the base that I have is just a little bit too light and I want it to be a bit more my skin color. And I am gonna blend that out with a Real Techniques setting brush. I've been loving this brush to blend out my eye primer, my concealer, even foundation sometimes, but I only have one, so I feel like I need to get a new one so I can keep using it for different stuff. And of course I am going to be playing with the Morphe and Lisa Frank palette today, and the first look that we are going to do is going to be really colorful and pink, actually really inspired by the palette itself. And I'm starting out with this pink purple shade. I feel like colors are so hard to describe, but this is just like a deep purple with a bit more of a pink undertone. And I'm gonna start placing that on my outer V and slowly gonna bring that into my crease until I am happy with how vibrant that looks. To blend out that purple shade, I am gonna mix two of the pink shades in the palette. One is a bit more hot pink and the other one is more purple. And I'm using a Morphe M507 brush, which is a little bit smaller, to really blend out the edges of that purple shade. And here I am just gonna start building that until I'm really happy, but leaving some space under the brow bone to go in with my next color. So I don't want to go up too high, but I do want the purple shade to look diffused. And once I feel like that is really nice and blended, I actually go back into my first purple shade to re-intensify the pigment of that purple. And I really want that purple to peek through the crease, so this is always a handy tip to do. If you feel like you're losing pigment while blending, you can always go back into your first shades. Now with a clean brush, I am gonna take the orange shade in the palette right here, and I am gonna start placing that on the outer part of my eye, just focusing that on that outer V and a little bit bringing it into the crease, but not too much. And I first like to really pat that color in and place it where I want it so you can really see the orange. And once that it's done and I am happy with how that looks, I will blend it out with a clean brush. And these colors blend out really easy. I did a review on this palette. If you haven't seen that yet, you can find it on my channel, but I talk a little bit more about the colors right there. And I was really happy, especially with the pinks and purples in the palette. These were my favorite colors to play with from this collection. Okay, so now with a big fluffy brush, I am taking the peachy color in the palette to blend out that orange shade to make it a bit more orangey, because it was looking really pink once it started to mix with the pinks and the purples. So this really helped me bring a little bit back of that warmth into the crease. Taking the yellow shade from the palette again on a fluffy brush, I'm gonna place that in the most inner part of my eye, really fluffing it in to blend out that pink shade because it was looking like really empty there. So I thought, okay, why not use the yellow shade as well? And I think that actually turned out really pretty. Okay, so this is my favorite part. I am actually gonna cut my crease and I'm gonna apply this pink shimmer shade on top of my lid, and I think it looks so pretty. To cut my crease, I am gonna use my blank canvas with a flat concealer brush. This one is from Peaches and Cream, but whatever flat concealer brush works just fine for this. And I like to start by really tapping on that blank canvas onto my lid and going in little sections so I don't make any mistakes and it can be really sharp and precise. And this is a half cut crease, so once I reach, let's say, just under the arch of my brow, I am gonna stop there, and I am actually gonna blend the edges of that base with a fluffy brush that is clean, just to take any excess product that might be left on my lid, just so it doesn't crease, it doesn't get crumbly when I apply the shimmer shades. I like to really pat that out until it looks really smooth and opaque. To make that half cut crease look really blended, I am gonna reapply the purple shade that I used in the beginning, just in between the outer V and that leftover concealer right there, to make it look like it's just one whole look, if that makes sense. Now with my glitter primer from NYX, I always use this before applying a shimmer shade. I'm just gonna pat that on my lid where I am gonna apply that shimmer. This is gonna help it look just like really intense and shimmery. And this pink shimmer from this palette, oh my god, it's the most beautiful color in the palette. I feel like it's so stunning. And I am just gonna apply that with my finger because this is really gonna give you the most payoff. Even if you don't use a glitter primer like I did, I would suggest going in with your finger first. And if you have any like little nooks and crannies that you really want to get into, then after go in with your brush, but your finger is really gonna give you the most impact from a shimmer. And then of course for the lower lash line, I'm not doing much. I am just taking that purple shade that I used in the beginning to connect it to the upper lid and blending that on my lower lash line. And in the inner corner, I am using that orange shadow and putting that right in the inner corner of the eye and connecting it to the purple. And after that, I just apply some lashes, and this is the finished look. I think it is so pretty. I promise you that in real life it looks so much more vibrant. But let me just jump right into the next look for you guys. Okay, for this next look, I wanted to play with the green shadows in the palette, but of course first I am gonna prime my eyes because you should always prime your eyes before going in with foundation. I mean eyeshadow, oh my god. Anyway, starting with this deep forest green from the palette, which is super beautiful, and taking that on a fluffy brush, I am gonna place that again on the outer corner of my eye, slowly building up the color and slowly bringing it in more into the crease. And this color is gonna go all the way into the inner corner as well. Now to blend that green for shade out, I am taking a lighter green in the palette, and I don't know, I wasn't really happy with this color because I thought it was gonna be much more pigmented. So it took me a long time to really build up this green to make it pop and really show up above my crease. But at the end it turned out just fine. It just takes a little bit more time and work to really get it where I wanted it. So I ended up changing brushes, a brush that was still fluffy but a little bit more dense to see if that shadow was gonna show up a bit more pigment. Then I just went back into my first green shade and started to build up the color a little bit more because it was really fading and I wanted this green to kind of look really intense and smoky. And so I took the black shadow in the palette on a flat packing brush and I started really packing that in my outer corner to create a really nice fade from that deep green to the black. And this black is so good. This black was really pigmented and blended out super nice without going patchy or turning gray, because some black shadows tend to turn a little bit grayer when you start to blend them out. But I was really happy with how intense and easy the shadow was. Then I went back with that forest green shade to blend out the edges of that black, but not too much because I didn't want to over blend it. And going back in with my NYX Glitter primer, again I use this a lot whenever I'm playing with shimmers, and I'm just popping that on my lid with my finger. And then I used the green shimmer from the palette, which was not as shiny as I was expecting it to be, but it was very vibrant. And it was a little bit crumbly, so I was really happy that I used a glitter primer before using the shadow, because otherwise it would have been really messy. I am going back in with the forest green shade to blend out the edges of that shimmer shadow, and then I am running a little bit of the black shadow on my lower lash line and blending that out again with the green shade from the palette. For the inner corner, I wanted a pop of color, so I decided to go in with a little bit of eye base and packing that on my inner corner with a tiny brush, and then taking the white shade from the palette and placing that on top of that wet base to make it really be like super intense. And that is the finished look. I applied some lashes and did the rest of our makeup, of course. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun playing with this palette. This palette is so good. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you are having a really good week. Subscribe, like this video, and all that good stuff, and I will see you all next time. Bye.